This tutorial will demonstrate how a teacher can assess the readability of any passage that you choose to use with your students. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that you're using Microsoft Word as your word processing program with your students. If you are, then you can go up to Word Preferences and click on the Preferences, and there's all kinds of choices that you have to make here in View, in General, and Edit, and Print. We want to go down to Spelling and Grammar, and we want to make sure that this box down here that says Show Readability Statistics is checked. So if that box is unchecked, you want to check it, and again, that's in the spelling. You click on the passage, the words from the passage. We're going to go up to the Tools menu, and we're going to run a spelling and grammar check on this passage. Since this is a piece of academic prose, there aren't any problems with it. It asks if we want to continue to check the remainder of the document. We say no, and then it's going to display the readability statistics. There's all kinds of information here, but what we're most interested in is what's down in this bottom section under readability. For one thing, a high degree of passive sentences, and that would be anything more than about 10%, indicates a very challenging read. And passive sentences are also, especially a high degree of them, are also correlated with academic prose. So it's not unusual that an academic piece would have that high a percentage of passive sentences in it. The next scale is the Flesch Reading Ease scale. This is an inverted scale of 0 to 100. The lower the number, the more challenging the passage. So if this were a number up around 75, it would be a fairly easy read. But since it's down at 27 on that scale, it's a very challenging read. And then the final statistic is the grade level equivalency. And as it gets, so anything which is post-secondary, collegiate, or postgraduate, or anything out in the professional force would still read as 12.0. Okay, so this particular passage is a very challenging passage of academic prose, which I chose to use with an adult audience. And so there's no real surprise there that it reads this way. When we went to the online books page in the previous tutorial, I showed how you could import a novel into a Word document. I chose this time to take the first chapter of A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court by Mark Twain and import that first chapter. And once you've got it into Microsoft Word, you could simply grab a few paragraphs. You don't have to grab the entire novel or even the entire chapter, but just enough of a passage so that you're fairly certain that you've got a good enough indication of what the reading ease is like. Once again, we go up to the Tools menu, hit on Spelling and Grammar. This passage has been checked, and so it should come in and tell us that it's finished checking the section. Do we want to continue checking the remainder of the document? We say no, and the readability statistics come out. Once again, only 3% passive sentences. A Flesch Reading Ease score that's very high, 74.4, which means it's very easy to read. And it comes in at 7th grade, 3rd month, which is where this book is usually read in the upper grades or in middle school. So this shows you how you can use Microsoft Word and its readability statistics to try to gauge a good sense of the match between student and reading content. It's not a perfect scale. It doesn't take content into consideration as much as it does the structure, the number of words per sentences, the number of letters in the words, and the amount of passive voice sentences, but it does take in enough information, I think, to help us make wise choices when it comes to matching the readers in our classrooms